morning, everyone. And first of all, thank you very much to everybody for being here so early on a Saturday morning and joining us in the first event of the celebration of our 5th anniversary of the Center for India and China Studies. We extend a heartiest welcome to our chief guest, Mr. Li Bijian, and his wife, and our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Raj Kumar, and Director of our Center, Professor Wenjuan Zhang. This event was curated by us with a vision for starting the dialogue, especially at JGU, but also in our neighborhood, Delhi and thereabouts, about our cultural exchange between India and China, with a focus on emerging and young artists and their expressive language, and especially we focused this year on calligraphy, which is a very prominent art form, globally known from China, but I feel like in India it hasn't picked up. It's in the art world. So we would like to present to you some beautiful creations contributed by some of the artists who've come here all the way from Bombay, Goa, Delhi, and even as far as China. So we will be introducing them in a while, but first I would like to invite our Vice Chancellor, Dr. Raj Kumar, to take the stage and formally welcome everyone to the event.
Very good morning to all of you. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Center for India-China Studies for actually celebrating 5 glorious years. In fact, the university itself is just 10 years old. We just celebrated our 10th anniversary, and this year is very special because not only we are celebrating the 10th anniversary of the university, but we are also celebrating the 5th anniversary of the Center for India-China Studies. I want to say several things, but I know we may not have time. I want to, of course, recognize the very distinguished presence of both our distinguished minister at the PRC Embassy, Mr. Li Bijian, and his distinguished wife, Madam Anne Dongmai, for their presence. But I also want to take this moment to pay singular tribute to Mr. Bijian for his deep and pervasive commitment to India and to the building of relationship between China and India. I've had the privilege to meet him many years ago on campus when we started one of our Xinhua immersion program, and we meet so many people in this country and around the world, Indians, Chinese, Americans, Brits, and so many others, and particularly who are from the diplomatic community. I have never seen anybody who is more committed to the cause of this relationship than Mr. Bijian. And so I heard a moment ago that he should be leaving India soon after his nearly 5 years of distinguished tenure. The Center for India-China Studies and its evolution, and also the relationship of JGU with Chinese institutions, would not have reached where it is today but for the most outstanding and inspiring contributions of Mr. Li Bijian. I also want to say that unlike many diplomats in China or India, Mr. Bijian he epitomizes humility and a deep sense of self-effacing nature, because of which we were able to do so many things together. He always takes an extra mile to make sure that what we end up talking actually gets done and nothing is left to the bureaucratic possibilities of universities or, for that matter, government. So in that sense, Mr. Bijian is a very unique individual, a transformative individual, a true leader who has inspired his own colleagues and also our own faculty members, as well as institutions in China, with a view to building and strengthening this partnership between both our countries and many of our institutions. I also want to say that Mr. Bijian is also very relentless. Sometimes in our journeys, we become quickly satisfied after we achieve a particular milestone. Mr. Bijian is all the time looking at new opportunities, how to build new potential possibilities between both our countries and institutions in India and China. He's constantly looking for those opportunities and are connecting it to us. And so we are deeply grateful to him for the trust that he had deposed on our institution since our early days, and to ensure that our university receives the right kind of presence in China and the right kind of attention within the diplomatic community here in India, particularly from the Chinese side. So I want to particularly thank Madam Dongmai, that we will miss your husband in India, and we only hope that we can persuade President Xi Jinping to delay his departure from India and to have some more years of his presence in India. So thank you once again, Mr. Bijian, for your outstanding contributions. I also want to take this moment to really recognize the importance of this week for us. As we all know, we are celebrating the 5th anniversary of the Center for India-China Studies, but also we are doing a diversified set of events today. So it is my proud privilege to be part of this inaugural ceremony of the India-China Artist Dialogue and Art Exhibition 2019. This in many ways is a great beginning for the celebration of the Center for India-China Studies, because art and artistic dialogues do not know any sort of, does not have any boundaries, geographical or national or other such boundaries. They transcend these boundaries and have an opportunity to connect individuals who are very different from each other because of the power of artistic imagination. And that is what today's exhibition and the dialogue is all about. And I think it is only fair that the India-China relationship, despite its constant aspiration, continues to face the struggles of distrust, and it can only be overcome by widening and broadening the scope of engagement. I, for one, and I've said this before, and I say this in the presence of Mr. Bijian, I am always skeptical of governments trying to build relationship between two countries. It has to be a much broader social and educational and institutional and civil society engagement, and that is what this does, and what that is the contribution of the Center for India-China Studies. When we started off our own university, we had hardly any Chinese partnerships, and although I used to work in Hong Kong before, over the years we have built substantive partnerships with China and Chinese universities. So many scholars from China, students from China, also officials from China, and people from the business community in China. They have visited us, and over 30 Jindal professors have taught in China and have done different types of engagement in China. I also want to recognize the presence of General A.K. Singh, who is a very distinguished advisor in the university, but more importantly has had a long and distinguished career in the Indian military establishment, and he had also visited China as part of our effort to have an outreach in China. And all of this only demonstrates the fact that we need to build greater understanding between both our countries that go beyond the relationship between both the governments. While the Wuhan summit and the Chennai exchanges are all very exciting and very positive, I once again have huge skepticism of any of these governmental and leadership level engagement to have a broader social impact between the two countries. The real challenge and the real opportunity is to be able to connect with young people in both our countries. 850 million people in India are less than 35 years of age. I am not less than 35, nor our Prime Minister less than 35, nor Xi Jinping is less than 35. The future of this both the countries' relationship is going to be shaped by the young people in this room and young people in China. So investing in the ideas of young people, investing in the relationship between both the countries through the prism of young people who actually don't have the burden of history in them when they look at the relationship is going to matter a lot. I also want to quickly say that the art exhibition is so important, and now it was mentioned that calligraphy is part of the core presentation. I don't know how many of you know this, but many years ago, Steve Jobs, the founder of Apple, was asked what was the most important thing that he learned in the university. And he did not talk about computer engineering. He did not talk about programming or coding. He said calligraphy. And in fact, history will remember that Steve Jobs sat in the Palladino's calligraphy class at Portland's Reed College, which eventually inspired the elegance for which Apple computers are renowned. The tech icon recalled this particular incident in his famous commencement address at Stanford University. He quotes, "It was the first computer with beautiful typography," and that was entirely drawn out of his calligraphy class that he took at Reed College. So for all the students in the room, I think the inspiration, but also the learning and all the things that you will achieve through a university experience simply may not come out of your whatever courses that you think are important. It actually might emerge out of these experiences and your investment in time and resources in art, in different forms of art and aspirations surrounding art. Calligraphy is a pivotal example, but there are many other ways by which you can devote your attention. Lastly, I want to quickly read the foreword that I wrote to the report which the Center for India-China Studies is going to be releasing in the next couple of days to mark the 5th anniversary of the center. And I will quickly read the report because that summarizes my own views and perspectives about the center. The establishment of the Center for India-China Studies of OP Jindal Global University was a historic moment. CICS was established with 5 broad objectives that form the founding vision and mission of the center. First, to develop a strong intellectual presence of China in India that goes beyond the possibility of students from both the countries studying in higher education institutions. Second, the goal of building substantive partnerships between JGU and the leading universities of China that will enable the faculty members and students of India and China to interact and engage with each other. Third, the need for recognizing the importance of comparative research relating to China and India being undertaken in these countries with an informed knowledge and nuanced understanding of the complexity of both the societies. Fourth, to provide an intellectual platform and a policy forum that will host conferences, lectures, workshops, seminars, and conduct research projects and promote other such initiatives that will bring together Chinese and Indian academic and policy institutions. And fifth, to bring together all relevant stakeholders in both the countries with a view to building trust and promote a deeper engagement through a dialogue among all key actors. This will include, but not limited to, government representatives, corporate and business sectors, and media, NGOs, and civil society, and the various professions. JGU is a relatively new university and was barely 5 years old at the founding of the Center for India-China Studies. While JGU was always conceived to be a global university with strong partnerships across institutions of the world, these collaborations were limited to United States, United Kingdom, Europe, Australia, and other developed countries. We had very few partnerships with universities in Asia and almost no substantive engagement in China when we started the CICS. However, given my own past experience of working as an academic in Hong Kong and having taught in China, I felt that there is a void that needs to be filled in JGU as far as our aspirations to building a truly international university. This was about building a deep and pervasive collaboration with China. It is at this time that we got to meet Professor Wenjuan Shang from Columbia Law School, with whom I shared the vision of the center. The rest is history, as they say. We were fortunate to be able to recruit Wen Juan as a full-time faculty member at Jindal. She moved to India and began to build the CICS most of the time single-handedly. Wen Juan is a force of nature. I have always believed in the idea of institutions driven by the passion, commitment, dedication, and farsightedness of outstanding individuals who are transformative leaders. Wen Juan epitomizes the extraordinary characteristics of intellectual integrity, entrepreneurial capacity, and organizational capability. The CICS has grown leaps and bounds in the last 5 years under the inspiring leadership of Wen Juan. Wen Juan's leadership is based upon the principles of humility, self-effacing nature, and collective engagement. Because of these values, Wen Juan was able to successfully galvanize intellectual consciousness among faculty members across different schools of JGU to contribute to the growth and development of CICS. The future of CICS is strong and indeed ambitious. The remarkable success of CICS in a relatively short span of time reflects the vision, mission, and the farsightedness of the founding director, Professor Wen Juan Shang, and her team members. It has been a pleasure for us to be working with Wen Juan and her growing team for the expansion and impact of the CICS both in India and China. I believe the relationship between India and China will be the defining aspects of the future of Asia. I am also convinced that the future of the world, to a large extent, is inextricably connected to the future of universities. The universities of India and China will play a leading role in chartering a new course of journey that will help them achieve the social and economic aspirations of the nation-building agenda. The CICS plays its definitive role in shaping this future. As CICS grows from strength to strength in the years to come, it will have the fullest support of the entire JGU community. Congratulations, CICS, for the 5th anniversary. Thank you.
I'm shorter than the tallest man here. Thank you, Professor Raj, for those very encouraging words. It is true we are a very young university, but I've been part of the 10 years journey. I've been part for nearly 5 years of those, and since I have joined, I have seen how this university has grown from what we had when we were there and where it stands now, with global recognition and otherwise. A lot of the credit goes to Professor Raj, who has his vision. I have only been a part of the Center for India-China Studies since earlier this year, and it's true what he said about Wen Juan. She works very hard, she has big plans, but she will not be the one who will take the spotlight. So I feel like even in this inaugural ceremony, she was supposed to say a few words, which she chose not to. She chose that she will thank other people. So I think it is due that there be a round of applause for her and her hard work. As some of the few women in leadership positions that I see at the university, she's one of my role models now that I've gotten to know her and her work and style better. Thank you so much. I believe Professor Raj gave a very personal and beautiful introduction to Minister Lee Bijan, to which I could not add anything more. So I would next invite him on stage to please share a few words with us.
Honorable Raj Kumar and Honorable A.K. Singh, professors, students, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning, namaste. It's my great pleasure to attend this function on behalf of Embassy of China and on behalf of my ambassador, Mr. Song Yidong. I'd like to extend our own congratulations for the 5th year's anniversary of Center for Indian-China Studies. And as you know that the center was set up 5 years ago when I came here. And it was just like a tree, small tree we planted. And through these 5 years, we see that with the dedication, efforts by Jindal Global University, especially by Honorable Vice Chancellor Raj Kumar and Professor Zhang Wenjuan and his colleagues. And we see that the tree now is growing bigger and stronger. And the center itself is only a small glimpse of the effort and the dedication made by Honorable Raj Kumar to promote Indian-China, its exchanges and cooperations. And 5 years ago, when I came here, I first met with Honorable Raj Kumar, and I found he's a great man. He has so much experience, he's so professional, and so efficient. And changed my opinion on my understanding of the education system of India. And through the past 10 years, Jindal Global University has grown from scratch to a globally well-known university, especially that the law school has the highest rating among the universities across the world. That shows Raj Kumar's efforts, dedication. And especially I want to thank Honorable Raj Kumar for his dedication to enhance educational cooperations between India and China. And when we mention about education in China, everybody knows that the higher education institutions are bestowed with the names of Tsinghua, Beijing, Beida, Renmin, and Hudang. And I'm happy to see that Jindal Global University has, through the years, has set up very strong connections with all the famous and prestigious universities in China. And he himself, devoted a lot of efforts to set up the channels of exchanges, especially exchanges of students, exchanges of professors, and this has paved the way for the robust people-to-people educational exchanges. So we owe a huge credit to Honorable Raj Kumar, to your efforts, to your dedication. And I always report to my ambassador. And the previous ambassador now is the Vice Foreign Minister, and he knows you very well. And the new ambassador, I also give him a very detailed briefing about you and about Jindal Global University. And he's more than happy to attend your serious activities in the next few days with his wife. So I thank you, Honorable, for your efforts and dedication. And we are looking forward for your continued support, assistance, and dedication to this robust and most important relations. And ladies and gentlemen, just a few days back, I came back from Chennai, where the second Informal Summit just held. And the two leaders started their tour from Ajanta, Penas, Krishna Batu Bor, all through the way to the 5 jantas, and finally to the Shore Temple. And the two leaders stayed together for more than 4 hours that evening. I was there. I witnessed the chemistry, and I witnessed the trust between the two leaders and their efforts to promote a long-lasting friendly relations between our two countries. These wonders of historical sites has been created in 7th DC. And these are the civilizations left over by history. And we owe huge thanks to Indian people, Indian nation, to preserve these wonders. And today that we have the chance to see how great masterpieces that created by our ancestors. You know, during my stay in Chennai, we had very huge homework to do, and we looked some of the history. In 7th BC, when the kings of Pandya started to construct these temples and these masterpieces, and there is a great officer, a great author, and a great philosophy, Bodhidharma. Maybe you know his name. This great Indian philosopher, author, and a Buddhist. He traveled to China, and he set up a special school of Buddhism. We call it Changzong. And actually, he created Shaolin. Today, that young people always practice martial arts. That started for this great man. He introduced martial arts in China and created Shaolin Temple. So that becomes the bridge of the cultural exchanges between our two countries. And very interestingly, that the very famous Chinese scholar, Mr. Xuanzang, he also visited, Chennai. Not in Chennai, but the hometown of Bodhidharma, which is located 70 kilometers away from Chennai. And on his way, he wishes to pay a visit to Sri Lanka. But on his way to Sri Lanka, his delegation made a hurricane. So that stopped his voyage to Sri Lanka. And you see, all these historic sites remind us of our robust and long-lasting communications of civilizations between our two countries. And today, we will have the exhibition of the masterpieces by the young artists from India and China. And you are the transmitter, you are the promoters of these long-lasting civilizations. I wish that your exhibition is a success, and I wish that through this kind of exchanges and the bilateral culture and art exchange among us will be promoted, will become stronger and stronger. Ladies and gentlemen, next year marks the 70th anniversary of our diplomatic relations. And the two leaders in Chennai of the shore agreed that the next year will be the year of India-China people-to-people and culture exchanges. And both leaders agreed that we will organize 70 different events of education, culture exchanges. And His Excellency, your Prime Minister, made a very good proposal. In order to celebrate the 70th anniversary, he proposed that from Chennai in India and Quanzhou in Fujian province of China, and we will have two ships to bring about 70,000 tourists to visit each other. And the ships will just start the voyage just alternatively from Chennai and Quanzhou. And that will start our celebration of the 70th anniversary. And I believe that next year, education will be one of the most important area and platform of this cooperation. So I think that give this job to all the people presenting here, especially to Professor Zhang Menjuan, that you can have more ideas, new ideas, to tell to our embassy, to tell the Indian side, Indian Ministry of Foreign Affairs, External Affairs, and how can we organize this 70th different activities to celebrate this establishment of diplomatic relations. And this past August, we had the second meeting of the high people-to-people and culture exchange mechanism in China. And last year, we had the first meeting here in Delhi. And among this higher exchange mechanism, education exchange is one of the most important pillars. So I hope that Jindal Global University will play a critical role to enhance the educational exchanges and to do a great job to celebrate the 70th anniversary of the diplomatic relations. Finally, I want to thank Honorable Raj Kumar for your very good words, good comments on what I have done. Actually, what I have done is really very small. I made a small contribution, and I've been here for 5 years, and 5 years is really too long for a diplomat to stay in one country. So I'm about to leave, but I can assure you, no matter where I go, I will continue to pay my attention and devote my efforts to promote India-China exchanges. And I will see that the relations will become stronger and stronger, and I will see the two peoples come even closer. And if we join hands, the Asia age will belong to us. Thank you all for your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister Lee Bijan, for your very generous encouragement and your support to the university and the center for the last 5 years. To be true, we do intend to carry on our Prime Minister's and President's vision in cultural exchange. This event that we have organized this year as part of the 50th anniversary, we intend to follow this up next year. Even bigger, even better, with more artists included with different kinds of art forms. So we thank you for your support, and we hope that the embassy remains an integral part of our efforts. May I request Professor Raj, we have a small token for you and Madam Han Dong-Mei. If I can request Rohit to please bring them forward. Yes. Yes. Normally here we would have the lighting of the lamp, but unfortunately we can't include fire in this space. So we've left that for when we go upstairs to see the exhibition. May I introduce you to our contributing artist, Nie Hui. She just arrived in the morning at 8 a.m. and they've made it here on time. Ji Fedong. Huang Ha, would you like to come forward? Wang Hao. Special thanks to him. He's been in India since yesterday, and he helped us amateur curators set up the exhibition upstairs. He just arrived in town yesterday, was very tired, but thank you so much. Chang Wei-Pu. He has been integrally involved in the curation of this exhibition and is one of the contributing artists. And next we have Kamar Dagar. And Sudeep and Anurup, who have traveled all the way from Bombay and Goa to be with here today. Thank you so much. We do have a group photo planned, but we'll do that outside. Meanwhile, I have some... Jie Fendong, would you be accompanying her?
尊敬的金德尔大学库马博士，尊敬的中国驻印度大使馆礼毕建公使韩冬梅女士，以及尊敬的夸马达加，尊敬的印中研究中心主任张文娟教授。
Dear Professor Kumar, dear Mr. Lee, dear Madam Han, dear Professor Wenjuan Zhang, ladies and gentlemen.
很高兴，很荣幸和大家在美丽的印度德里相聚。
It's a great pleasure and honor to meet all of you in the beautiful city of Delhi, India.
首先，我代表中国艺术家对盛会的召开表示热烈的祝贺。
First of all, on behalf of the Chinese artists, I would like to extend warm congratulations on the opening of conference.
对各位东道主朋友表示诚挚感谢。
I would like to express my sincere thanks to all our hosts.
本次盛会是庆祝印中研究中心成立5周年，5是非常好的数字。
This grand event is to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the establishment of CICS. 5 is a very good number.
中国有句古话叫做阴阳五行。中国古代哲学认为，世界由5种物质构成，即木、火、土、金、水，称为五行。
There is an old Chinese saying called yin and yang and the 5 elements. Ancient Chinese philosophy holds that the world is made up of 5 substances, named wood, fire, earth, and gold, water. Those are the 5 elements.
五行之间相互影响，相克相生，关系排列得当，则相生。
The 5 elements interact with each other, fighting each other. The proper arrangement of relations produces each other.
木生火，火生土，土生金，金生水，水生木，如此周而复始，生生不息。
wood makes fire, fire makes earth, earth makes gold, gold makes water, water, wood, and so on.
印中研究中心经过5年的成长，特别是在座各位的精心培育，可以说现在已经根深叶茂，生机盎然，每年都有累累的硕果。
The Center for India-China Studies, after 5 years of growth, especially your careful cultivation, it can be said that now has deep knowledge. For love vitality, there was many fruits every year.
而今天组织这样的文化艺术交流及展览，象征着我们的交流必将开辟新路，谱写新篇，生生不息，源源不断。
Today, the organization of such cultural and artistic exchange and exhibitions symbolize our exchange.
当然，如果把印中两国看作一组阴阳的话，龙象共舞，相得益彰。
Of course, if India and China are regarded as a group of yin and yang, the dragon and the elephant dance together and complement each other.
中印两国同为文明古国，同为大和文明，同为发展中人口大国。
China and India are both ancient civilization, river civilization, and large developing countries with large populations.
中印两国比邻而居，地缘近邻相靠，文化融合相生，人文交流历史悠久，影响巨大，意义深远。
India and China are close neighbors. Cultural and artistic exchanges have a long history, great influence, and far-reach significance.
在交流、碰撞和融汇中，互相启迪，互相影响。
In exchange, collision, and fusion, mutual enlightenment and influence.
诞生了灿如星汉的文明成果，融入两国文化血脉，薪火相传，历久弥新。
It has produced a civilization as splendid as the stars, which has been integrated into the culture of the two countries, and passed on from generation to generation.
在新中国与印度建交70周年前夕，应邀参与中印艺术交流和对话，感到非常荣幸。
And eve of the 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between China and India, I'm honored to be invited to participate in the China-India cultural exchange and dialogue.
作为对中国琴诗书画印都充满热情向往并倾心创作的艺术家学人，我对印度的音乐、舞蹈、诗歌、文学、电影、绘画、妆容等都非常热爱。
As an artist and a scholar, I love Indian music, dance, poetry, literature, movies, paintings, and so on.
充满期待。
Full of anticipation.
女士们、先生们，
Ladies and gentlemen,
印度是世界上举足轻重的大国，文化艺术、经济科研皆引人注目。德里作为印度中心城市，人民友好热情，城市古典时尚。
India is one of the most important countries in the world. As the central city of India, Delhi has friendly and warm people and class fashion.
恒河碧波荡漾，亘古流淌，让我想起家乡的长江。虽然两江相隔万里，被高入云霄的喜马拉雅山脉阻挡，但它们却在太平洋、印度洋相依相合， 正如中印人民友谊山高水长。
The Ganges River reminds me of the Yangtze River in my hometown. Though the two rivers are thousands of miles apart, they are linked in the Pacific and the Indian Oceans, just as the friendship between the Chinese and the Indian people is long.
龙象共舞，必将为人类社会发展创造更加美好的明天。预祝本次盛会圆满成功。
Dragon and elephant dance together will create a better tomorrow for the development of human society. I wish this event a complete success.
最后，请允许我借用常维普先生的诗，并与谢必东先生贺诗一首，表达衷心祝愿。
Finally, please allow me to borrow a poem by Mr. Chang Wei-pu and write a poem with Mr. Xie Feidong to express my heartfelt wish.
具得游艺，雅怀芳听。弘道养正，汉末丹青。芝兰依依，青年重重。中印和乐，世界大同。
Abide by morality, pursue art and be elegant. Carry forward the road, cultivate integrity. Chinese calligraphy and painting. Achieve fragrance, lotus blossom. China and India are peaceful and the world is like a home.
飞龙在天，大象无形，龙象共舞，相惜相生。江河恒长，明艳雍雍，得理谈意，目如清风。谢飞东聂辉贺诗。
Flying dragon in the sky, the elephant invisible. Dragon and elephant dance together, cherish and grow together. The river are always long, the guests are happy. Exchange art in Delhi like spring breeze. Written by Xie Feidong and Liu Hui.
谢谢大家。
Thank you very much.
Xie I would, that's the only thing I know, Ni Hao and Xie and I would also apologize if I've been mispronouncing any of the Chinese names. I've tried my best to learn how to pronounce it rightly, but it is a foreign language to me, so hopefully with practice. I apologize if I've said your names wrongly. Thank you. Thank you. Now I would like to invite a representative from the Indian artist side, Kumar Duggar, a well-known calligrapher from Delhi.
你好 and namaskar to all the distinguished guests from China and India, fellow calligraphers and friends. This is indeed a privilege and a delightful moment for me to present before you my views on this very special occasion. Well, when we think and talk about calligraphy, China, as also the neighboring countries like Japan and Korea, from East Asia and Middle East, North Africa, known and respected the world over for Arabic, Persian calligraphy, come forth first. Of course, Western calligraphy holds its own, as does Russian. There are magnificent traditions of this beautiful art the world over, emphasizing the importance and power of the written word. Calligraphy enjoys a unique status in all cultures as it is a coming together of language, script and culture. Of course, there are so many more streams such as philosophy and geometry that come to mind readily. Such aspects make it a very vital representation of art and culture. In short, a very important visual art. And we do know that China enjoys a venerated status, and rightly so. The ideograms carry an entire universe in each of them. It takes a lifetime and more to understand and master the techniques and understand their spirit. If we look at their tradition, it is clear that there is a lot of stress on refinement, beauty, and education that goes beyond the mundane. Calligraphers such as Wang Zizi, please excuse my mispronunciation, known as the sage of calligraphy from the Eastern Jin dynasty, famous for all forms of Chinese calligraphy, particularly the running script. Sui and Tang, Yang, Ming, and Qing dynasties also contributed greatly to the development of Chinese calligraphy. This is all in a very short way. I'm not an expert in that, but I just thought it would be interesting to add these things. Present-day calligraphers such as Tao Jun, Yang Hui, known for his figurative paintings, birds and flowers, Sun Li, Wang Yu Kun, continue to enthrall the lovers and followers of calligraphy across the world. Therefore, China's contribution to the world of calligraphy is phenomenal and unparalleled. Then, of course, paper making, block printing, brought into existence by Bi Sheng, kind of 2,000 years ago, talk so much about their traditions and how they have nurtured it even today. Coming to my own country, India, being an ancient culture herself, has brought many beautiful gifts to the world. China specifically, Buddhism and yoga were brought into existence and then shared with the world. I feel we have a unique contribution to make to the world of calligraphy as well. There are 22 major regional languages. Brahmi is the most ancient of our scripts. Devanagari, Dravidian, and Granth are the three ancient scripts that helped develop many of the modern day scripts of India. I do believe that we have a major contribution to make to the world of calligraphy, both traditional and modern. Calligraphy is essentially an art of fine writing, and I do believe it emanates from fine thought and practice. All religious texts from the past to the present continue to be its best examples. Calligraphers or artists were usually part of an institution, and they dedicated their best skills and works to their respective lords. Therefore, they did not sign their works as a mark of respect, something commonplace now. Today, it has expanded in terms of variety in content and linear to artistic innovation, from religious to social to anything that an artist finds inspiring or interesting. From spiritual to also commercial activity, it is a challenging journey both for the art form and artist. As with development came modern time-saving equipment to address the ever-increasing demands of the times, to accomplish a lot in lesser time. While the need of the hour must be addressed, I strongly feel that art forms must be kept intact lovingly, responsibly, and respectfully. The human element must remain intact. That has been created with hand without typewriters or computers today must be acknowledged and given the status it deserves. From the spiritual, one can actually while in the spiritual, it is a spiritual practice, and from my own experience, and also I'm sure from all those sitting here, will know that it is a practice that makes you lose sense of time and space. And it's a long journey that everyone has a unique story to tell. Well, this is a vast subject, and I would now like to share my views on the magnificent art form itself. I come from a family of traditional classical musicians. From my childhood, I have been exposed to different art forms, be it performing, visual, or literature. It was my good fortune to have my spiritual guru, Hazrat Amir Abdullah Khan, also a calligraphy master. He created beautiful traditional tughras. Tughras are a collection of verses from the holy book of Quran. It was a privilege and delight to learn and understand his philosophy as well. Coming from a guru-shishya tradition, the traditional teacher-student system where one not only learns the art from the guru but also his way of living, his philosophy. This is a beautiful contribution of India to the world in traditional system of education, I feel. However, What I do is contemporary pictorial calligraphy. I'm interested in the picture form of the language I read, write, and speak. I've known the Hindi, English, Urdu script from my childhood, so each alphabet is a close friend that I can interact with. It is exciting for me to be able to write it in two different scripts in one art form. Hindi and Urdu scripts are written from left to right and right to left, respectively. I'm delighted that they complement and contribute while keeping their identity intact, and that mirrors the times they are created in. Also, I feel as each art form is addressing the emotional realm in their own way, it is a personal sharing of the artist, whether traditional or modern, contemporary. Artworks represent and mirror times they are created in. What was contemporary yesterday is traditional today. Likewise, what is contemporary today will be traditional in future. But what is important? That it mirrors the inner depths of the artist that he so lovingly creates and shares. It is a never-ending, continuous process, and thank God for it. It has ensured that we can see and experience extraordinary creations even today. This holds true for both creation and techniques. Mankind continues to invent and reinvent himself. Looking at the art forms, musicians have musical notes, poets have words, dancers have movements, and we calligraphers have strokes to express ourselves. And while working, I realized that one calligraphy stroke is akin to one lifetime, in the sense that the opaque and the transparent coexist, just as we were born one day with more ink, and with passage of time it started to diminish, but we had greater clarity of what there is for us to understand. I'm delighted that I'm showcasing my works alongside such beautiful artworks, and I cannot wait to understand the artists' views on their respective works here. In the end, a sincere gratitude to Jindal Global University, Professor Polomi Bhadra, for this opportunity, and hats off to you for creating this opportunity of a dialogue so important and critical to understand other cultures while sharing our own. I do believe that arts and artists have a major contribution to make to bring joy, peace, and contentment. I wish you more power. Thank you.
Thank you, Kumar. I would also like to take this opportunity to thank our two artists who arrived yesterday and helped out with the exhibition setting up as well. I think we have to admit, I don't know how you will like what we have shown. It is very pretty, it is very beautiful. But if there are any flaws, we apologize, it's upon us. Sasha, Vaipu, and me, we are novice curators. We've never done this before. So please, we would like any constructive feedback you have to give us so that we do it better the next time. But so much thanks to Anurup, Sudeep, Wang Hao, and Vaipu, who've been in this profession and who guided us yesterday, late night, to set up and put the exhibition in physical form ready for you today. Before we move on, I think it is time that no matter how much she's been trying to get out of talking today, Wenjuan must take the stage.
I had a plan not to speak, but later I realized I really need to show appreciation to so many, supporters and the contributors for making this event happen. 5 years ago, I think it's curiosity bring me here. In the first 3 years, I worked very hard because I want to answer my curiosity to understand India. And then I realized 3 years cannot really help me to understand India. So I decided to stay longer. And then there's also in the last 3 years, the first 3 years, I found that there's so little, knowledge about India, China toward each other, and so, the trust is also weak. So that's given me kind of a new kind of mission from curiosity to kind of contribute as a civil society participant, right, to bring these two countries. And the first 3 years also, I met so many people to support me, make me feel I'm so empowered, like Minister Lee. I mean, this is the first time I met the embassy. When I was here, I know nobody, and then the minister hand by hand, give me so many supports, connect me with the embassy's person, and also give us some fund grant to bring the Indian faculty to China. That's at the initial stage is so important, so critical for me to build confidence, to play the role to connect the two peoples. And also for Raj, I mean the trust even from the beginning when I sent the resume, Raj called me in 10 minutes and I said, do you have any question about me? Of course, I have many questions about the university. Later, Dr. Sahani even joked me, so my question can be translated into the Q&A. But I asked Raj whether you have any question about myself, whether I'm competent, to move to India to do this. So you just come, From the very beginning, no boss give you such a kind of confidence, such a trust. After move here, day and night, you can see, even we have the report, I have the video. Raj in the 12 p.m. working on invite. He says, oh, there's this and that, and also the report on the car from the Delhi to university. He works full support. I have never experienced such a support from the supervisor. So nobody have no reason to work so hard because you have such a trust. You want to do the things. More and more important, I also find my colleagues here. They work so passionate. We have such a cross-cultural team. Think about this organization by Vipu, by Sasha, by Pauline from Russia, China, and India. Such a cross-culture team. They work, of course, there's cultural barriers, how to make this, and they also outreach so many different stakeholders for making this happen. This is actually how show the globalization of Jindo, Jindo Global University. So we always work in this environment with this cross-culture team and to build things with the different thinking and different, approach toward how to make things happen. But we work so harmoniously in such a constructive way. I know it's so hard, to make this, as Kwame just mentioned, we are lacking for experience. This is the first time we organize this. But I always believe, and also Raj shared, art is the most powerful voice, most powerful expression. We need to do more. I find in the last 5 years, the academia, the research, of course, they play some kind of a role, but it's limited in terms for the people-to-people connection. I think art is even more powerful. So that's why we try to make this happen. Thank Parliament, thank Sasha, thank Wipu, and all this treatment. This amazing artists. They specially contribute a job for this exhibition. So all in all, I just want to be very appreciative for all the support of the GGU event team, transportation team, and all this with such a short notice, with working with such a less experienced organizers. They are so tolerant, so fast, respond. I just thank all of you. Hope you enjoy the exhibition.
And to you, Wenjuan, for organizing this China Week. I think one of the reasons she doesn't want to speak today is because she's be speaking a lot more in the next week. We have so many events here tomorrow and in Jindal University. That's it with the speeches. Now we can finally move on to see the exhibition. If you would like to join us outside in the foyer, we would like a good photograph of all of us who've come together to join us in the ceremony tonight. We want to this morning, we want to remember you all and your support. And then we will lead you upstairs where we have the lighting of the lamp, a very formal and traditional way of inaugurating events in India. And we will give you a guided tour. Before we do that, I would like to add that this is an exhibition for sale. So if you would like to purchase any of the artworks, we have some of the artists who are here with us, and we can put you in touch with the other artists if you would like to get in touch and discuss about purchase and of any of the artworks on exhibition. So could I request my team to please lead us outside?
She starts.
Should we make it faster?
I will join that. Where is Benjuan? Benjuan. No, you do it. Sasha. And Polemic. Yes. They've all done it. They have done it. You do it. All right. So we start from.
Should we start? Yes. From here.
No. This way, why that way?
This we show from there.
Why is like what's your experience here? Right? It's your first time to here.
Okay. Rolling. Again. Look at her, not to the camera.
OK, thank you。
谢老师您好，这是
聂，我姓聂，聂
聂老师，
哎，他是姓谢，哎，对。
OK，聂老师您好，您这是第一次来印度吗？
是的，这是我第一次到印度，我非常高兴。
您能分享一下您这一次来印度的体验吗？
好的。印度一直以来在我们的心目当中，觉得是一个古老文明的国家，它让我们中国的文化得到了很大的丰富。比如说我们中国的佛学，包括一些观念包括我的书法创作里面都有这种印度文化的元素比如说拈花微笑这样的典故。这一次来看了我们中心举办的书画印中书画交流展之后，我特别觉得感受很深。看到很多印度的艺术家用中国的思维方式去创作他们的艺术作品，我觉得很受启发。他用黑白灰的方式，用油画布和油画的方式，又用上了中国的装裱的挂轴的方式，很新颖，也很独特，也给我很多的启发。因为我经常应邀到海外，英国、美国印度尼西亚马来西亚等等办展览，经常这个卷轴携带的时候，总觉得在卷的时候容易损伤。但是我看到他们用中国的装裱方式来创意的让其他材料完成。
Stop. There's a battery died. Come.
Yes, sir.
就是您刚才提到，不是说从印度艺术家这儿得到了一些启发，就把这个具体启发再说两点。
好的。同时我看到了印度的艺术家用书法的语言方式来书写印度的文字，而且有他们独特的想法，又有中国的味道，我觉得很有意思，对我也是很大的启发。包括在材料的选择，在对比的应用，在层次的表达上面，我觉得都是很有创意和自己独特的想象力的。同时在这次交流当中呢，我碰到一位金德尔大学教哲学的印度朋友，他说他最喜欢的一幅画是我的一幅现代水墨作品，并且现在已经成了他电脑屏保背景了。他觉得在这幅作品里面体现了一个艺术家的矛盾的思考，我觉得也对我很大的启发。因为我的作品他也谈到了，他说我送来的作品，其他的作品都是很安静的，而唯独这件作品是感觉到充满一种矛盾的。我就感觉到其实艺术在表达的时候，一方面是要照见自己的一种理想，同时另一方面其实也要表达一个丰富的自己。对此我觉得很有趣。谢谢。
Okay.
OK，
Look towards her.
不用拿着，
You have to look towards her.
你要看着我，不要看镜头，看我，好吧？
Here, here.
啊，
Yes.
看我的
Start.
Ask the question now.
好，那那个王老师，您这是第几次来印度？然后您对印度有什么样的印象？这一次艺术展又给您一些什么样的启发？
我这是第2次来印度，第一次是18年11月份，我来印度20多天，主要活动地方在菩提迦耶，然后来德里，在德里有将近1周的时间。那么我在德里呢，我主要是每天去的地方只有一个地方，就是博物馆，因为我觉得博物馆对我来讲特别的重要，所以说我不想就是说去拿出来更多的时间去一些，因为博物馆很丰富，藏品很丰富，产品很丰富，是这样。我这次参加这次中印艺术家交流这个活动，我觉得非常的荣幸，同时对我来讲呢，我觉得很值得珍惜的一次活动，也是很重要的一个活动。为什么这样讲呢？因为正面的、直接的和印度艺术家交往，我还没有，这是第一次。上一次是其他方面的，比如说对宗教的爱好，来印度。这次呢是文化方面的，文化艺术方面。那跟印度艺术家交往了之后，我觉得惊奇的发现，印度原来也有书法。原来我认为就是说只有中国才有书法这种说法和这种概念。那么这次来了之后，我觉得收获最大的，对我来讲是感觉到很意外的，也是很惊奇的。甚至很激动的，就是印度居然也有书法，而且印度的书法呢，它是直接和文字和绘画，就是说很融洽的、很自然的结合在一起，比如说有几位这个印度艺术家的作品，就是说他好像是用音符和舞蹈，然后和汉字。no， 不是汉字，是文字，印度的文字，然后呢，直接反映这个关于声音，关于这个舞蹈，人的肢体，这种形态，我觉得无论是从形态上，无论从这个色彩上，我觉得都是很有印度的特色，就是说很浪漫、很热情，同时呢很有色彩感，形式感也非常好。我觉得这个活动呢，非常有意义。希望这一类有意义的活动呢，我觉得要继续办下去，经常的，要连贯性的，办下去。这样情况下，我觉得会非常有意义。谢谢。